What's up guys, I'm Josh Newlin. In this video, I'm going to give you a full breakdown of how busy I am as an NCAA student athlete.
Josh Newlin keeping an attempt on goal from happening.
All right, boys. So just a little bit about me. I play NCAA Division III college soccer. I go to a school here in Texas, private school. I'm now a senior, so I have a good feel of what it's like to be a student athlete, of what it's like to play college soccer as well. And it is crazy. I think I'm realizing if you can be a successful college student athlete, I think you can do anything in life because there are so many skills required, time management being a huge one, which is what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to tell you guys exactly breakdown of how much time spent in class, practice, traveling for games, work, other things around the student athlete's life. And stay tuned until the end because I'm going to give you guys an exact example of my schedule last spring in the off season and my schedule right now during our season. In this video, I'm pretty much just going to explain and lay it out for you of how busy we really are, how much time we spend, different things. But if you guys want some tips on time management, on how to balance school and soccer, I made a video with another fellow D3 student athlete. If you want to check that out, the link will be up here. So before we get too into it, if you are a student athlete like me, whether high school or college, comment down below, let us all know, what is your daily schedule like right now? How does your time split up and how do you manage that? So just getting into it, I'm sure if you're in high school or college, you've heard people say the phrase all the time of, you're a student athlete, student comes first. So first of all, starting with classes and just everything around the school part of it. Now in college, they split things up into what they call credit hours. The average is about 15, 16 credit hours a week. And that basically just means roughly how many hours a week you're spending in class. It's not exactly, it's a weird kind of system, but if you have 15 credit hours, you're probably spending around 15 hours a week in class. Now, if you're like most people on a 5-day school schedule, that equals 3 hours a week of class. I only have class 4 days a week, so it's a bit more of class each day and then 1 day off from that. So obviously a big part of college is it's a lot more than just going to class. There's a lot of things outside of class, homework, projects, tests, a lot of things that you do have to study for, you do have to work on outside of class. At least for myself, I'm an exercise science major. It's not the hardest major in the world, but we do have quite a few projects, research things, and that takes time outside of class. So I would say roughly around an hour a day outside of class, I'm doing other things related to my schoolwork. Some days, the days before a test, the day or a couple days before a project is due, that can increase a lot. But if I had to say on average, including weekdays and weekends, probably about an hour a day spent outside the classroom still working on school stuff. So I think it's always better to be on the safe side and assume you're going to need more time to do this than less. So we put that together, that's about 5 hours a day of school-related activities for student athletes. And like I said, the classic saying, you're a student first, then an athlete. So second, we've got all the athletic-related things. Now, first of all, in season, you're going to have practice, but out of season, you honestly should be spending just about the same amount of time practicing or training as well. And normally that comes down to about 2 hours a day. That's a very typical, and even if you have like an hour and a half practice, it's still, if you're including the warm-up, the cool-down, things like that, it's probably going to be 2 hours spent out there at the field. But I also think it's important to factor in the time before and after. Before, you're probably going to want a little snack. You want to get out there early. It's always better early than late. Get out there early, get your stuff ready. A lot of teams might meet in the locker room beforehand. So let's just give an estimate of 30 minutes before you're still going to be occupied. And then I would say up to an hour after, because you want to eat after and you want to shower after. And for most people, when you put those two together, it's going to take about an hour. So just for the time fully around one practice a day really comes out to about 3.5 hours. Now, you also want to factor in as well, though, a lot of teams do double days, and if you're not doing double days with your team, you should probably be going to the gym on your own. And even if it's an off day from the gym, it's probably a good idea, especially a sport like soccer. It's so focused around skills, to use some time to train, to work on your skills, to improve as a player. So if we're factoring that in, I'd probably say that's about another hour and a half a day. And that comes out to 5 hours total a day if you're including all the basically athletic related events you're doing. Erring on the higher side, but roughly could be about 5 hours a day. Like I said, I'm not a math major, but so far just between school and your sport related activities, it comes out to about 10 hours a day. A lot of this depends on the day. It might be days where you have an off day from practice and you should take that rest day. There's going to be days where you just go once a day. There's going to be times where you have classes off, you don't have homework, you don't need to study. So this is on the higher end, but like I said, the estimate about 10 hours a day so far. Now next up is work. There's a lot of student athletes that don't work, that don't have to work, but for a lot of us, we need to. You gotta afford the groceries. Even people that have full rides, there still might be things. You wanna get a new pair of shoes. That doesn't cover that. Your scholarship doesn't cover that. It just covers your meal plans, living on campus, and the cost of tuition. So work is definitely something. Specifically here at my school, there's very few student athletes that don't have some kind of job. When I say work, that could be working off campus, fast food place. Could be on-campus work study. My school does a great job of that. I've never worked off campus since I've been here. I've just done on-campus work studies. There's also internships. A lot of times it's hard to find one that is paid while you're in college. Some are, a lot of them aren't. That's still kind of be classified as work, interning, and that's something almost everybody nowadays does in college. A lot of people do that in the summers when they're off, but for example, me, I did mine last spring while I was still in school. And to be honest, I don't think I've ever worked more than 20 hours a week, even in the off season. It's just so hard to work that much. And even if you're available, actually getting scheduled for that much of time when you are a student athlete is very rare. So I'd say on average, if you're a student athlete, you're probably working between 10 and 15 hours per week. I'll just say you're getting about 14 hours a week. That comes down to 2 hours a day of work. All of this is going to vary on the day. That's just a rough estimate. There's going to be days where you might work 5 hours and 0 hours the next day. But if we're going to do an estimate, an average, it comes down to 2 hours a day, and we're now at 12 hours out of our day. So this next category, just kind of labeled it as other, probably things like hobbies. For me, for example, I've been, for the last few years, spending some time on Duolingo every day, just trying to learn Spanish. It's coming along very slowly. But I spend maybe 30 minutes a day or so on the app. I also obviously make YouTube videos as you're watching right now, and that takes time. It takes time to film as I'm doing right now. It takes time to edit, to upload, to make little edits, thumbnails, things like that. It all adds up. And for other people, have different hobbies of art, music, whatever it may be. That's also just little bits and pieces out of your day, but it adds up to more time. Now again, thrown in this category, not a hobby, but I am an RA. So being an RA, there's meetings I have to go to, there's certain nights I'm on duty, certain weekends I'm on duty. I have to be doing certain tasks for that as well. And a lot of student athletes, especially smaller schools, are involved in a lot of different clubs. So you can factor in your different clubs, different events on campus you might host or run. There might be intramurals that you go spend time and play at, which a lot of athletes love to do. So because this is a broad category, and it might not seem like a lot of time, but there's a lot of little different things that take bits and pieces out of your day, I'm just gonna roughly add this up to about 2 hours a day as well, for all your hobbies, for all your other things, apart from school, your sport, and work. So again, this is on the high end range, but we're at 14 hours a day now of all those things. And now we finally arrived at free time. So this is where you relax, you can hang out with people, play some video games, watch some movies, whatever it may be. A lot of people, by this point, you're so exhausted in the day, or you've had so many other things to do. A lot of times, especially during season, we end up just kind of chilling in our room, doing our own thing. But I would give this as 2 hours a day, and that's probably being very generous. But again, you can also add up all those little breaks in between classes, meals, things like that. It takes time to eat. And at those times, you're scrolling on your phone, social media, watch something before you go to bed, read books, whatever it may be. But I would say this could be about 2 hours a day. And the reason I'm saying 2 hours a day, if you add all this up, equals 16 hours of the day. And the reason I did that is because we should all be getting 8 hours of sleep every night. Should all be getting 8 hours of sleep every night. It shouldn't even be negotiated. It's hard, but it is one of the very last things you should compromise on, especially as a student athlete. It's so important. So 8 hours a day should just automatically be ruled out of I'm gonna sleep 8 hours every night. And then you've still got 16 hours a day to distribute your time. And the ironic thing is a lot of people think they can skip out on sleep, cut off a few hours, and they'll have more hours to do stuff during the day. But almost every time it's gonna backfire on you. It's gonna make you much more likely to get injured. You're not gonna have as much energy, so you're not even gonna feel like using that time appropriately. You know, almost every time I've been sleep deprived, the last thing I think when I wake up is, oh man, I'm gonna do so much more productive stuff today. Normally it turns out to be the opposite, and I'm even more lazy, and then I need to take out time for a nap later as well. So do not forget your sleep. Now, like I promised at the beginning, I'm gonna share with you a straight up example of my schedule from last spring, which was our off season, the spring semester, and also right now, the fall semester, which is our season, during our season. So for last spring, I would wake up about 7:30 a.m. I'd go to the gym 8 a.m., be done by 9:30, rush back to my room, take a quick shower, get quick food in. Had class at about 10 a.m. and then I would go till about 11:30ish. And right after that class was out, I would go straight to my internship, but I'd also have, you know, a lunch that was like microwavable or something I could just eat quickly. I didn't have to cook, and run to my internship, which I would do for about an hour and a half, normally each weekday. So I'm eating lunch while I'm, you know, doing my intern activities, which was on campus, which also saved me some time. Right after my internship was done, all this is in the same building, by the way. So I would just walk, 50 feet to my next class, which would be at 1 p.m. And I had 2 back-to-back classes. I would get done at 3:50 p.m. And then we had our off-season, team training. It was 4 days a week, and it would be at about 4:15. But I would go straight once I got out of that class, take the equipment over, get my cleats on, get ready, warmed up, and we'd do our training from about 4:30 to 6. Once that was done, I'd run to the diner, probably be over there about 6:15, have my dinner, and be out of there around 7ish. Come back to my room, get a shower in. By the time all this was done, normally it was 7:30 p.m. So from pretty much 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m., I did not have a break. And that time I got all my sports done, I got my classes done, got my internship done. But by 7:30 p.m. it wasn't like I could just chill for the rest of the day. That was when I had to do my homework. I had to edit videos like this, work on my Spanish if I didn't have any free time earlier in the day, study if necessary, and hopefully I'd have that done by a time where I could at least do something to kind of chill out before I went to bed. And that was in the off season, which a lot of times some people make the mistake of thinking in the off season I'm going to have so much free time and I'm just going to be so relaxed and easygoing. But a lot of times off season, because you think like that, you just keep piling on activities and you keep adding things to do. And that example was from one of those 4 days a week I had class. So my Wednesdays were thankfully not nearly as busy. My Saturdays, Sundays, I did have free time. Now, as far as my example schedule for right now in this semester, this fall semester, while I am in season. So I'm just going to show you guys a Thursday, for example. Thursday morning, I'll get up around 7:45ish, eat some breakfast. I have a class at 8:30 a.m. So I'll go to that class at 8:30. I'll get done around 10, and then from 10 to 11:40, I am free. So in that free time, it's not true free time because I'm working. I like to do a bit of my Spanish practice on my phone, a few minutes of that. Might do some editing on my phone as well for YouTube videos. It also might be time where I do some of my work because I work for our school's social media, so I can do that from my room, from my apartment here. And then at about 11 or so, I'll either make some lunch or go get some lunch on campus here. Then I have class from 11:40 to about 1, and another class from 1:15 to about 3. Now, the very nice thing about class is that a lot of times professors cut it short. So in reality, I'm probably getting done around 2:15, 2:30ish each day. So then again, I have a free section between 2:15, 2:30 till about 4 when we have practice. But again, in that free time, I'm trying to get ahead on some homework, studying if I need to. There also might be work that comes up. We need to film something, I need to edit something, doing my own little tasks and things like that. At about 4, I'll head over to practice. We officially start practice at 4:30, and we'll get done normally around 6:15. Like I said, there's normally comes out to about an hour of time, so I really won't be done eating and showering until about 7:15. So 7:15, 7:30, done with my school and my soccer part. Probably not working after that time either, but there are certain times where there is an event going on or something I need to go work. For that time, take an hour or so, work on some projects. Again, like I said, if I haven't already in the day, work on my Duolingo, work on my editing videos. Might do some time reading there. And then I can have some true free time before I go to bed. And normally I'm trying to be asleep by about 11:45 to give myself that 8 hours. That is the example of what my schedule is like right now during my season. So thankfully right now, it's not an overwhelming schedule. Unfortunately, it is hard to find time to work out in there on my own. I'm only being able to go a max of about 3 days a week because it's hard to find enough time. I have nice little gaps, but inconvenient times, right before, right after practice is not ideal at all. Again, factoring in wanting a little snack, wanting to shower, wanting to eat after, and not wanting to just go for a blitz through workout, wanting to do it the right way. So that is my complete breakdown of what it's really like, how busy I really am as an NCAA student athlete. I hope you guys enjoyed, hope you learned something from this. If you want to know what a day in the life of a college soccer player is, I have a playlist full of videos showing you a day in the life of game day, of off season, of recovery days, tons of vlogs on my channel. So if you want to check that out, there's a playlist up here. I hope you guys learned something from this and take something away from this, and at least informed you of what it's like to be an NCAA student athlete. If videos or topics like this interest you, most of my channel is about being a college soccer player, and I'm in my senior season right now. So if that interests you, please be sure to subscribe. Leave a like on this video as well. And if you are a student athlete right now, high school or college, go comment down below. Let me know what your schedule is like, what your daily schedule is like, how you spend your time, and how you manage that. So again, thank you guys all for your support. God bless, and I will see you in the next one.